Well, thanks for coming all this way to do this.
Yeah, no, it's hard. Like 20 steps from my room.
That's a lot, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I guess let's fucking a weird interview with my roommate.
Yeah, in the fucking living room, it feels strange.
It's super.
Because it's just like a thing where, like, if I'm getting interviewed, like, even on like a Discord interview, it's like, okay, like, I know no one's watching this, but
Right.
like, there's a camera and another guy. It's just, this is like, who the fuck cares about this?
No, it feels so narcissistic for us to be doing this in the living room.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like I have to, right? I did
Yeah.
with Zane, and of course, you're a top 5
Yeah.
melee player, and pretty easy to get access to.
Yeah. I guess awkward if I say no. So, yeah.
Did you think about it?
Huh?
Did you consider it?
No, but I was like, like, I thought about it. I'm like, I can't say no, but I'm like, whatever.
Let's get into it. Let's talk about your life when you discovered melee. Like, you
Yeah.
were in high school, right?
Yeah, I was 14. Yeah, I mean, I was just in high school, like, doing whatever. Like, it's not super interesting, I guess, because I was just doing like my fucking classes and doing like I would go to school, come home, grind melee, super, super, super sweaty. Like, I wouldn't even let myself go to bed unless I was hitting like, 'cause I mean Falcon. I wouldn't let myself go to bed unless I got like I was doing like the Michael Jordan in Space Jam. I think that's a scene
Sure.
where I'm not allowed to go to bed until I get like 100 in a row, like perfect hack stashes. So I was like really, really, really sweaty with it in my free time during high school.
What made you want to get into melee specifically? Like, there's lots of video games out there.
Yeah. So I say I'm a Dylan Sprouse kid because I got into it. He tweeted about Project M when Mewtwo was getting released, and I got that with my brother super casually. But we learned how to like L cancel and wave dash and do that stuff, but like obviously just as like super casuals. And then the after that, my brother found the Smash documentary, and he for like 2 weeks was like, "Hey man, you need to check this out. It's so dope." And I was like, "No, that sounds lame as hell. Like those people sound like virgins, you know? Like why would I want to do that?" And eventually, I watched it. It was sick. And from day one, I saw it. I'm like, I want to do that. I want to beat these people, and I think I can beat these people. And now I am one of those virgins, I guess. It was like, so yeah.
Early on, like, what was your goal? What did you think your ceiling was? Were you always trying to be the best?
Yeah, it was. I mean, from day one, it was like, I think I can be the best. I'm gonna try to be, and just like all the stuff that came with it. I think my goals have shifted since then. Like just being like a number one player, I don't really care about as much. But my goals were like, yeah, I want to be the best. I want to try to make this a career, and I want to win like a super major tournament. And that was, or it's just amazing. Who cares about the nomenclature? But like, just I want to win a big event with these people, and I want to beat these people. Like watching a documentary is like, I want to beat this guy's ass, this guy's ass. That was like the whole goal, basically. Yeah.
How early into that did you feel like you had an aptitude for it and like you had the ability to get really good?
I mean, even playing casually, I was always pretty good. Like I was usually better than like everyone I was playing with, except for my brother. Like he was, also like a gamer. But yeah, I mean, like even like at Gommel, because that was my first tournament. I found out about this through the documentary, went on Smash boards, found that Gommel was happening like in like a month or a couple weeks. Didn't realize how rare it was to get like all these names to Toronto. So it was just like a luck of the draw kind of thing. And I went and like playing friendlies with people and whatever. It was like, I mean, I was 14, so people are obviously trying to like gas me up a little bit more. But it was like, okay, like, I went 0 and 2, but in playing with people, I was doing like pretty good. I mean, the funny thing is I played a free for all with Hungry Box at that tournament. It was him, Sauce, the Link main, and some other random guy. Played so fucking lame. I just like camped in the corner while everyone else fought, and I won just so I could tell people I beat Hungry Box in a game of Melee, which I did. Um, but yeah, that's besides the point. Yeah, I don't know. I was picking up pretty fast, and the thing I thought was cool was Gommel. I lost to a guy, I think 2-1. And then my next tournament, a couple months later, I played him again and I four stocked him in bracket. And I was like, okay, I think I am improving pretty fast at this.
How long did it take you to get onto like the local PR?
So I don't remember Toronto specifically. I mean, it was probably like maybe like 9 months or something.
Right.
Maybe it was like a year. I don't remember. But I went to Gommel and then like 2 random Toronto tournaments before I found tournaments in my city of Oshawa. And then I went to 3 weeklies. I got third, and then I got second, and then I got first at those. I guess they were bi-weeklies, but like same thing. So it was like I guess I won like my 5th event or something. Um, and it was a bit spread out. I was young. I couldn't go to a ton of events, obviously. So it was like at that point I'd been playing for maybe like 6 months, but it was like my 5th event.
I mean, that's a crazy rate of improvement.
Yeah.
How much of Melee do you think is like talent versus hard work?
I think it's a bit of both, but you can't get by with just talent. It's too hard of a game with too many like niche situations, too much tech skill needed, and too much history and meta development to just get by on talent. But like just like anything in life, like someone who's talented is probably going to have to work a bit less than someone who isn't. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think ultimately, if you're like a hard worker and like capable, you're able to make up for that with hard work. Also, just like most things in life, at least I would like to believe so. So,
That is fair. And,
yeah.
and I mean, I can speak from personal experience and say that you are a very naturally gifted gamer. I think it's also shown in like the rate of improvement you've had in Mario 64 speedrunning. And I mean, you beat me in like every game we play together. Do you think that you're in like the upper tier of gamers in the Melee space?
You mean just by like I can like pick up, just play a
The
game, and I'm
pure
just.
talent. Yeah.
I think probably. I don't know. I've just been playing my whole life. Yeah, video games. I think I pick up on games pretty quick. Uh, Yeah, like I think I mean like just I don't have too much to like choose from to like prove that, but just I think so most likely.
Who do you think are like the most naturally gifted gamers of the other Melee players?
I think the big one is Plup. I think he's the big one. I think he probably does gap everyone in that regard.
Hmm.
I think I'm up there. Who there are people who are like who are the people who people say? I feel like that's like the
Plup comes
list.
up a lot.
Plup,
Um,
Mango,
Mango. Yeah.
yeah.
Who do you think are the worst gamers?
Zane, I think I don't even know if I can name more than just he's so bad it tanked my reputation. There was like a Reddit thread about who are the best and worst gamers in Melee, and I was in the bottom tier of Zane. I'm like I don't know. I get pretty good at stuff. I feel like I pick up games naturally. He's so bad it tanked my reputation, which I think is impressive.
I mean,
So
I'll set the record straight. Like, I'm a pretty good gamer too, and you beat the brakes off me in pretty much everything. You've taken all of this, like work and talent, and you've managed to be what, top 5 for the past 3 consecutive years now?
think so. I'm pretty sure it's been 3. I don't know.
Would you have expected, like, was this imminent? Like, do you think you could look back and tell yourself the 14-year-old who started playing, and would you be surprised, or would you just think that it was like, of course you got this good?
I think it's like a bit of both
Hmm.
because I feel like in a lot of at least not everyone has to be like this. I think everyone's different, but I think the way I went about it is like I am telling myself that I can do it, and I'm going into it with like that confidence because I felt like I feel like there is a need to believe in yourself in that way, even if sometimes it's blind confidence. I think it's very important to just believe that you can do things. So I think it would be like I knew I could do it, but I think there would be still shock and surprise that it is actually, the case. Like the fact that I have been able to make this thing into a career, which is like I don't know. Obviously, like when I'm 14 and I find this thing, and like that was my goal is to make this a career because I saw that people were doing it. And that's the time where I'm picking if I'm going to college or whatever, and I'm like, I want to do this and see if I can. Uh, I'm not gonna say that it was like good foresight because it's like a really dumb idea, but like like it was ultimately like the goal.
And it panned out so far,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah,
I mean, you are among the best players in this thing in the world currently, but also ever, really,
yeah.
right? But something that you've told me about before that we've talked about
Mhm.
is that you feel like sometimes you're left out of the conversation of that top tier level player,
Yeah.
right? You've said, you're, no disrespect to SFAT, amazing player, but people are like, you're the SFAT of Melee.
Yeah.
Why do you feel that you're always separated from these top level players?
I think there's a few reasons. Um, I think some of it is just like career trajectory because I think like me and J Mook are the two people who get compared the most. And I have that period of, I am improving a bit more slowly in the public eye. And I think perception is very hard to build. People say that first impressions are everything. So when my career, like people have that benchmark of me being like a worse player, the underdog getting better, and they don't have that with someone like J Mook, or they've had so much time to get acquainted with the idea of somebody being a top player, like, more of the old guards and stuff. Like, I think it's just like my time at the top has been less. I am a little bit more inconsistent, and just that preconceived kind of like perception of my skill. Um, I think there is like also a subsection of people who just like don't like me because I, young and have ran my mouth and have been like confident about stuff. So like there's like that subsection too, which I don't even know if it's worth like putting that into this conversation because like it's like I don't know with those people if it's like even the truth or if they're just trying to like stir the pot and be dicks. But I think like ultimately, yeah, it's just for those reasons.
Like first impressions can be hard to shake sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think is like the current community perception of you as a top player, as a player and as a guy in the space? Like,
I don't know. I think like I think I'm very polarizing in that regard where like people either really like me or they really dislike me in either way. There's like obviously some people in the middle, but I feel like it's like at least that's how I feel. I could be wrong. That's how I feel. I'm down to be that guy. I feel like most people in other spaces that I gravitate towards as a fan are those kind of people. So it is what it is, but it makes it really hard for me to like I guess answer that question because it really, 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 I think differs from person to person.
you also alluded earlier to having a bit of a divisive like online presence, a
Yeah.
divisive Twitter presence. Do you feel like that's changed recently, and why do you think that's changed?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's changed. I mean, I've gotten older. Like I was super young, going like I don't know, like drinking and smoking a fuckload of weed, going through like a lot of just rough personal stuff, looking for validation in this thing and not really like getting the validation that I wanted from it from like other people. Uh So I think I don't know, I like rub people the wrong way. I'd also always speak my mind and whatever. And if I'm in that place where I am like going through that stuff and maybe a bit bitter, like it comes off very bad. On top of just being like young and confident and whatever. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've just gotten older. I've been putting a lot of effort into like just improving my life in general. You're losing weight, so I'm not a fat fuck anymore. Uh Doing like therapy and shit. Just like everything, Like I cut out drinking and smoking. I'll be like a year sober completely in like a month. Just like all that stuff. I don't know. I think just like making positive life changes, not caring as much about people's perception of me. I really don't care that much anymore. I'm just doing my own thing and getting older.
Speaking as the guy who lives with you, like you've made really market improvements in a lot of like areas of your life outside of melee in the past couple of years. Like I think it's been very cool to see,
Yeah,
and
I
I
appreciate it.
agree that I think a lot of that has trickled into the online space.
Yeah, it's just like ultimately it's because I think it's just seeking for validation I wasn't getting in a space so publicly, and it's just not like you can't control the opinions of other people, and as much as you try, all it does is rub people the wrong way, and I feel like that's kind of just, I guess, to sum it up, what I was doing, I think. So yeah.
One thing though that has always been consistently like that people have always consistently been a fan of is your gameplay, your
Yeah.
melee competition.
Mhm.
Do you still feel like people are frequently complimentary to your gameplay and stuff? Do you put a lot of pride into the way that you play?
Yeah, I think now that I'm less of the underdog, it's like, people have because people like the underdog and stuff too. Um, I also think to become less of the underdog, to become more of like the top echelon, you do have to get rid of some of the flashier stuff just to do. You have to sell your soul a little bit. Um, but I think ultimately, yeah, like I mean, I take pride in it. I think I really innovated quite a bit. I mean, I was the first guy doing a lot of tech chase stuff with Fox, and that's, we love it or hate it. I did kind of change the way that people combo with Fox quite a bit in that regard. And I don't know. I take pride in it because I think I didn't really have much top level practice when I was getting good. I mostly just played like Quiggles, and my he's my boy. But like, at the time, he's gotten a lot better now. Actually, funnily enough, but at the time he was complete shitter. Um, and I had to find my own ways to improve with playing people who I was like skill gapping. And in doing so while keeping it fun, I had to do my own stuff, make it more interesting and like go for weirder stuff. And I think to be able to translate that weirder stuff into higher level competition, I take a lot of pride in because it's just to me that's like the heart and soul of Melee is it's a sandbox creative game and there are a lot of ways you can do stuff.
Do you still find playing the game fun?
Sometimes. Ultimately I think as the game has progressed and gotten optimized, I think it's strayed a little bit away from like what brought me into it at the start, but it's still fun. I mean, I what I was saying the past couple years, I've been having more fun with it this year. This year, I'm really trying to go hard and like play a lot and like take it more seriously than I have the past couple years. But I've been saying how I hate the game. I love competition.
Right.
Because I truly, truly love being at a tournament and trying my best. But sometimes playing people and they're just playing so fucking lame. And it's just like like a Wednesday evening and I'm in my chair waiting to cook dinner. And I'm just like, we could just run at each other and this would be so much more fun. But
It does feel like Melee is just trending towards this really uninteractive place. Like that we're optimizing the fun out of Melee.
yeah, not like it's not completely like, but yeah, like I think it's just natural with anything the way it progresses. Like in basketball, right? People complain about like the 3-point shot. That's why I call like Zane the Steph Curry of Melee because he is the guy who started doing a lot of the like. I guess he didn't start doing this. He did a lot of the like modern day stuff that like really optimized it. That when the people who are worse than Zane do it, it's like God, this is really fucking annoying to play against. But ultimately, it's like an impressive feat and whatever. But it's just that when anything becomes optimized, yeah, like I think some of the like, what are the words I'm looking for? Like not the creativeness or the fun, but just like I guess I'll just use those words: the creativeness and fun and whatever do end up getting like sapped out of it a little bit.
Do you ever feel like a little bit of a hypocrite as being one of the best reaction tech chasers in the game, talking about people optimizing the fun out of it?
I mean, I think that's the funny thing is that the players who are cool typically, I feel like, do that. Like, because Nunn was like the big crouch canceling guy, and he's like one of the coolest players to ever play. And he was the first guy to start doing one of the lamest things you can do in the game. Uh, Same with like I said with Zane. I think Zane watching, he's fucking sick. I don't know. I feel like that's because I think it's a thing where a thing is really cool when it's new. When it's new, it's really dope. The same reason people really liked reverse Ken combos before, but now it's just like whatever. And when I was doing tech chasing stuff, it was new. It's not new anymore. Same with like none and crouch canceling. I don't know if it's like hypocritical. I think it's just like the times have changed.
There's one quality of your gameplay that I do want to draw attention to, and I try to pretty much every time I commentate a set of yours, which is that an alarming number of your sets go to game 5. You're a really slow starter. Why do you think that is?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I mean, I feel like if I was sure, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be going game 5. Uh, I don't know. It might be a bit of a play style thing or a momentum thing. Like I do think I get amped up when I'm down. I think I'm really good when I'm down in a set. Um, it just makes me log in and play better. I think I do play the game a little bit more old school than most people do nowadays. Going for like really dialing in on weird player habits and stuff. So maybe it's a bit of that where I notice like, oh, you're shielding in this spot, so I'm gonna like later on in the set start grabbing you for it. I don't have a great answer. A bunch of random guesses, but
Also, though, to your credit, you do clutch out a good chunk of those game 5s.
yeah.
Like what do you think is the most clutch set you've ever had?
Probably me and Spark. I think me versus Spark at Apex 2022. I'm bummed no one talks about it because I think it's actually the biggest comeback ever done in Melee. Because I was down 2-0, 3 stocks to one, I was down. I win that game. I go down 3 stocks to one again. I win that game. And then I think I go down like 2 stocks or something and I win that game. And it's just like I was down 2-0, 3 stocks to one. And then I was down 2-1, 3 stocks to 1, and I win that set. That's actually ridiculous. Like, I had no business winning that set, but
No, that set was unreal. I remember watching that set with Quiggles, like in the living room when we lived together,
yeah,
and just we were losing our minds.
I think it's up there for the biggest clutch ever in Melee.
Another ridiculous set that you had was what was the one in Europe with Aklo?
Oh, yeah. What was it? I don't remember the score. Was I up 2-0 or up?
I think you're up 2.
Because I know I got double 4 stocked and then I won game 5. But I think that one was because I was super, super cooked on jet lag. I was getting like 2 hours of sleep the entire time. It's my first time ever traveling out of the continent, and I wasn't used to it. And it got delayed a ton because of some kind of issue. So it was just like super delayed, like whatever. I know everyone was tired too, but it was like I think I just like dialed out a little bit. And in the Fox, if you do that, you just get blown up. So I just got cooked completely and somehow won the set.
It was also pretty funny to see.
No, it's one of the stupidest sets I ever played.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I have to bring up your recent Nouns Invitational Japan
Mhm.
Game 5 last stock against Josh Man,
Yeah.
where you were down like 130%,
Yeah, I was like getting thrown off stage for like a minute.
and then you clutched it out with a pretty egregious back throw shine.
It was so obvious what I was looking for the whole time. And I had recovered like 5 or 6 times and really like weaseled my way to be in that spot. I mean, it's funny because I watched your interview with Zane and he was saying how it was lame that I popped off on it. I'm like, I feel like it's if you look at that and it's just the back throw, like you're not focusing on like the part of like why I would pop off and be excited. I'm not popping off because I back through shine somebody. I'm popping off because I thought I lost the set for an entire minute straight until I didn't and I won. Um, and also with Zane, he like I'm not taking pop. He did like a cartwheel. Dude, like, that's not cool.
No, I mean, I get it. I get it. But I do love that you guys in particular, and of course, Hungry Box has always been doing it, but you guys have both really been just letting the emotions out on stage.
Yeah, yeah. I used to not be a pop off guy at all. Funny enough, I don't know when that changed. It might have been like online because like yeah, I don't think I really popped off much like at all ever. And then just randomly one day I started.
Yeah, because I remember like the LACS 4 pop off online.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
on one.
yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a classic. You know what's funny about that one is Hugo told me that randomly he walked into like the kitchen one day and his brother was just like reciting that pop off line by line.
That's so
Just
crazy.
like just heard him mumbling like get the fuck up. What was it? It was just like get off the screen, bitch. Or something I
Yes.
don't remember.
It's been a while.
But he like memorized it and oh, it's so funny.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Do you think there's a line between being clutch and being a cheeser? Like or do you just have to take those opportunities when you get them?
Yeah, like I don't know. Like it's just at the end of the day, everyone in Melee nowadays is a cheeser. Like everyone's trying to hit you with the grimiest stuff. It's just where the game is. And you are a fool if you don't take what's given to you.
What was your worst tournament going experience ever? Because as a top player, you've been going to a lot of events these days.
Evo 2018. It's the only Evo I went to, and I'm glad that the tournament series died after that. Because it was, I mean, some of it was out of control from Evo,
Hmm.
and some of it was in control. But I had a layover in Vancouver, and it got delayed like 4 hours. So that's like a 5.5 hour flight. Stuck there for like 5 hours or something. Then flew to Vegas from there, which is another like 3 hour flight. And then I get in, I can't get in my hotel room because the people are out partying that I'm sharing the room with. That sucks. I go, it's also my first ever sponsored tournament too. So it was like such a, like it hurts so much that I did so poorly. But then I go and I play my pool. I was told I was going to play on stream, waited for 2 hours. Then they said, oh, just go play in a random setup. I played against John Wick while the entirety of AZ's like almost touching me, just like screaming in my ear. I lose that. I'm pissed. I look at the sheet, like the pool sheet of the bracket, and it says I'm going to be playing at 10 a.m. the next day. I think that it said that the winner of that set was going to play at 10 a.m., but that's what the pool captain showed me. So I went to bed that night, set an alarm to get ready for 10 a.m. And I wake up because somebody's leaving my room to go to their 8 a.m. pool, which is fucking crazy. And the venue opens at 8 a.m., by the way, so you can't even like warm up. And I just happened to wake up by the noise, and before I went back to bed, I checked my phone and it's Quiggles saying, "Hey man, your pool is at 8 actually. You need to get there." So I couldn't even like brush my teeth. I couldn't do anything. I just had to like wake up and run. And I ran from the Luxor or whatever, the pyramid one, all the way to the ballroom, which is like a 15-minute walk or like a 20-minute walk. I ran all the way, lined up, went in there, had no warm up, and I lost to Bimbo the Falco at 8 a.m. And he was just spot dodge shining me like every single time I knocked him down. And I don't even know what placement I got. It's my first sponsored tournament ever, and I was fuming. Uh, yeah, just absolutely not a good experience. It sucked.
And I mean, that must have been really hard because I know that you didn't have a whole lot of opportunities to travel early on.
No, not at all. No, it was like that was my first sponsored tournament, but like even with the sponsor, I was only able to go to like a few like majors a year with them, and then I had to like figure out some other stuff and whatever. And yeah, because that was 2018. Yeah, I didn't really have many opportunities to travel. It was very hard to make it work.
Yeah, I mean, in general, I think that I mean, I've know it personally, but you had a pretty rough upbringing, right? Didn't have a whole lot of
Yeah,
opportunity or privilege in general.
yeah,
And I think a lot of the melee community probably doesn't realize that these days because I feel like you don't talk about it very much.
yeah.
Can you expand on some of that a little bit? Give some context.
Yeah, I mean, like growing up, I guess I mean, it's super dark. So just warning. But yeah, growing up, my mom was like super overprotective. I think she had like OCD in some way. Just I couldn't even like cross the street of my like suburban, non-busy street without her like watching and whatever. But she had a degenerative joint disorder, I think that's the term, called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So, when I was younger, she like could walk a bit, but it hurt. And then kind of just as it went on, it degraded to the point where she couldn't walk without crutches. And then she couldn't even really walk with crutches because it hurt so bad. She was like in a wheelchair. And then she was in like so much pain where she was like debating getting her legs like amputated because it was like that fucking bad. Because her legs, like, it's just so much pain and always like dislocating and like it just brutal. And yeah, and then it was, I guess, 2009. I was 10. I mean, I remember it like vividly because it was like, um, I was with my friend and we were trying to see if we could have like a sleepover. And we were watching excitedly out the window. My mom's talking to his mom. And then all of a sudden she like kind of like just fell forward onto his mom and like whatever. I remember like running across the street and like trying to get his dad to help out. Like, oh, hey, like my mom, like she's, passing, like I think she's dying, whatever. He was super dismissive. And then, it turns out she had just a sudden brain aneurysm and was on life support for a couple of days. And then ultimately, like the decision had to be made to pull the plug and she passed away. Um, Yeah, and then I mean, like there's like other stuff too. I don't, I don't know how to segue that without it being really awkward.
No, that I mean, it not an easy thing to segue in general,
Yeah,
but I think that that had an impact on your melee stuff too, to where I know that you had to take a lot of risks to compete in this thing. And
yeah,
one thing that I want to point out in particular was like the crossroads that you had, where I know your grandparents gave you some money.
yeah.
Can you explain that whole thing and how that led into tournaments?
Okay, yeah. So I guess for other contexts is like losing your partner is very depressing. My dad ended up drinking a ton, and he developed like a really, really, really bad drinking problem. But yeah, I when I turned 18, I got $2,000 from my grandparents that they'd been saving up since I was born, just however much a year, put in an account, and just I get it when I'm 18. I guess this is not the best like chronological order to go by. Um, I guess I'll just I guess okay. So it was like 2019, and I was at Battle of BC, and I got some like bad news. Don't care to go into like what it is. It's just like whatever, just not worth sharing. But ultimately, bad news. And mid tournament after my pool, it's like in the evening, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't compete. I don't want to. I'm done. So I announced I was retiring like mid tournament, and I didn't go to bracket the next day. I just went on a hike in Vancouver, just whatever. And then effectively, I got home. I'm like, I'm just done. And I was making resumes to sending them out to like whatever places I could because I didn't have any qualifications. Because life stuff was going bad. My dad was drinking, and it was like very apparent like I need to start making some like actual income to either just support myself or to support like me and my family and whatever. So I'm doing that, not playing Melee for a couple months, and then Gommel's rolling around, and I did not plan on going at all. And then my sponsor, because they ran Gommel at the time, they're like, "Hey, like, can you please like just come, like, we're your sponsor. Can you come to Gommel?" And like, obviously, it's like, well, yeah, like I will go to Gommel. But even in my head, then I was like, I'm just gonna play Falco and just not care and just whatever. Like, I don't have that dog in me anymore to play. And then the bracket comes out and it has me playing Kalindi into Hungry Box. And I played Principoo all the time. Like he was like one of the main guys I played. So I was like, okay, me and Kalindi's a 50-50. I've always wanted to play Hungry Box just for the chance. At this point, he's the number one player in the world. I just want to like see how that goes. So I'm gonna play for like 4 days leading up to the event and just like see what I can do. I go to Gommel. I beat Kalindi game five last stock hardly. And then I play Hungry Box game five. He's best in the world. I lose, but it was like a performance of just like, oh, wow. Like he's been the undisputed number one player in the world for a while. No one expected me to do that well, especially because I was retired. So it was like, okay, wow, like that's impressive. And then in losers, I beat Espy. I beat Lucky game five. And then I beat Plup, which is my first. I guess I beat Shootout a couple, but like my first like real like massive win was Plup there, and I make top eight, lose to Wizzy the next day, but like performance that people were going crazy for. Summit was coming up. Sorry, this is long winded.
No,
It's a
no,
lot,
no. This is good. This is good.
but yeah, Summit was coming up. And people wanted me to campaign for it. But in Canada, we only did one person at a time because we didn't want to split the Canadian vote, especially with the Canadian dollar being so bad. So I had already told None, hey, you go for it like months prior or whatever. And I didn't want to go back on my word there, even though people were saying like you would probably just get voted in after this performance. And I said, you know what? I will do a donation goal to go to the Mango. It's a week before Summit. And if I win it or get second or I'm the highest placing person who's not in Summit, then I will qualify. So I'll do a donation goal. And a couple weeks go by. My donation goal did not go super successfully. Shout outs to whoever supported it. But I think it was like an $1,000 donation goal and I hit like $400. And then I was just like, okay, like there are people who want me to go and try my best. This isn't the best decision, but like it's the most like hype I've ever had around me. I'm gonna dig into that like $2,000 I was given by my grandparents. Not a great decision, but I'm just gonna like take it out, fill in the rest of the donation goal myself, and just see what I can do. Put up one last hurrah, and then be done with Melee. I do that, and I get second at Summit behind Johnny, who was already in Summit, or second at the Mango, and I qualify for Summit. The next week, I go to Summit. I don't do great, but it's like I'm at fucking Summit. Like that's like every Melee player's dream. Like essentially, I like hit it big. Like I accomplished what I set out to do when I was a teenager. So I'm stoked no matter how I did. I go home the next day. I take a red eye. We get home at I think 8 a.m. and my dad's like bedroom door is closed. And I'm like, okay, that isn't good. He should be at work right now. And I find out that like I think it was like the day after I left, like 2 weeks before I came back, that he lost his job and had just been like drinking in his room nonstop for the entirety of my trip there. So when I see him, I'm like asking him about it, and like one thing leads to another, and I don't know what it is. I think he was having some kind of like psychosis break. I don't know, something like crazy with just like how much he'd been drinking, and it just ended up in like an altercation where like he like grabbed a knife and he's like, threatening to like I guess like hurt himself and whatever, and I had to like physically like rip it out of his hands. Uh, just really like traumatic situation. And then we kept arguing and he kicked me out. So I went and I stayed at my friend's house for a night. And then I went to my other friend's house for like a week. Um, and Eventually, I moved back in, but only for like a couple months because I got like an offer from my friend to move in permanently. The rent was super cheap, like $400 a month, and like I was hardly even making that at the time, but I had to get out, and I bet on myself, and I like moved in there, and I'm like, cool, I'm going to pursue this thing, try my best, and see if I can like make this work. I'm gonna give it my all, and then COVID hits, and my internet isn't good enough to compete online. So I moved out of that situation, bet it all on myself just to be held back by like my internet, basically. Um, and Eventually I was able to compete online. And then, like, of course, like online, there's like that whole thing. I was bitter. I think it's understandable now after I say this why I was bitter about people not counting it, because I had, pretty not uprooted my life. I needed to make something happen, but like I really bet it all on my ability to do this thing. And then it was taken away from me. And then when I finally was able to like do it, it was just waved off. Oh, this doesn't fucking matter. So frustrating. And I'm over it now, but like genuinely, like for years, it was just like such a source of like hatred in me and like bitterness. Um, and I mean, like, I feel like if a lot of people in my shoes, it would be the same. But yeah, it was so fucking frustrating. But ultimately, I'm over it now, and it's all worked out, and somehow I'm, doing this full time still, and it worked out despite it being obviously probably not like. I mean, I don't even want to say it wasn't the smartest decision, because, given my circumstance, but not, by the book, the smartest decision to bet it all on this thing.
I mean, ultimately, this worked out. You're, making a living doing this full. You're one of the few players remaining who's making
Yeah,
a living off of this thing full time.
yeah,
How do you feel about that? Like, do you ever reflect on that and feel like,
yeah. No, I do. I mean, I think I'm just like grateful. I don't know. And I know it's like easy for me to sit here on like my throne with my sponsor and just be like, we should just be grateful that this all exists in general. But like that's honest to God the feeling that I have. And I think I would have that even if I wasn't sponsored. Like the opportunities that people have gotten, the connections made, the fact that anyone ever was able to make money off this thing, even like if you're just making a little bit off locals and whatever, like the fact that this exists in any capacity I think is something to be grateful for. And the fact that like there was that dream for me to chase when I was going through hard things in my life. Uh and like it paid off. And it's just the whole thing is just like this is an anomaly. This shouldn't exist. The fact I make a bank account, they don't even have anything remotely that I can put as my job. I just have to put some like random shit because it is just so out there. I think is just like it's a privilege, and it's just I'm very grateful for it.
do you think that the fact that you're, like financially reliant on the game and the community,
Yeah.
how does that influence how you feel about the state of Melee right now as like an endeavor, right? There's lots of talks about Melee dying and stuff.
No.
Do those things like conflate in your mind? Does that make you feel any particular way?
Yeah, I mean it's super stressful. Like obviously, like because I did like bet it all on this thing, and it's like my only qualification. I know people would point fingers and say you're an idiot for that, but like again, just life circumstance. It's not like I was given necessarily a hand to succeed. So I think it's hard to not be stressed. I'm kind of just going about it in the way of like I don't know when this is all going to be over, so I'm just going to enjoy it while I can. And if it's something that lasts my whole life, great. I am grateful. If it isn't, I'm grateful for the times where it was lasting and I was able to do it. Like by number, like numbers have obviously gone down and whatever. Like I understand the sentiment. It's hard to not feel that way sometimes, but ultimately there's so many cool things going on in Melee. Trends kind of go through like ebbs and flows. Things could turn around, things could not. Ultimately, I'm just trying to like live my next bit with the acceptance of like this could end at any moment and I have to go figure out things again. Like whether it's like I go and just become a server for a bit while I do content on the side and I focus on what my next endeavor is or whatever. That's kind of just the mindset I have is it could end at any moment and just be ready for that and enjoy it while I'm able to.
How do you feel about the trajectory of the game in general, not including your situation, but just where the game and the community is headed?
The thing I think is sad about it is just that I feel like no one is on the same page about anything. Like, I feel like nowadays compared to before, there is way more of a lack in like community, I guess, which I don't think that the community can exist the way it did a decade ago. Just the way the internet's gone and everything has gone, it's just not feasible. But I think it is sad that, like, like the stats people have different opinions from the Redditors, who have different opinions from the people on Twitter, who have, different from YouTube, from Twitch, from my top player experience, from Cody Schwab's top player experience. Like, everyone is always going to have their own opinion, and opinions are going to differ. But I feel like we're at a point where there's just so much disconnect between everyone, which I think is unfortunate. And I feel like things would feel probably a lot more positive if there was a bit more of like a connection between people. Because I think right now it's like people are just in this kind of doomer mindset. Everything sucks, and they look around at people and no one agrees with them on a certain topic, and it makes people angry and bitter. And I think it's just there. It feels like there's like a bit of a lack of community, and I feel like even if we could agree on like one thing, it would help.
Why do you think there is such a fracturing of the Melee community right now?
I think it's partially online's fault. Because back in the day, people's interactions with the community would just be like through like locals or even like Facebook groups, but it was way more personal. And now it's like even like local scenes sometimes don't talk to each other because they have their own like Discord clique. And like top players are like so much more disconnected as like personalities than they used to be. And it's just, I think back in the day, everybody was kind of like a cog in the melee wheel, but now it feels like people are cogs in like just their own like clicks wheel. Um, I don't know if that answers the question, but
Whose responsibility, if anyone's, do you think it is to guide the community in like a more cohesive direction?
I mean, it's just on the people who care about the community. Because I have it sometimes where like people in like Twitch chat or something will be like, "Oh, we need to do this, and we need," and it's just like, if you care that much to do something and like be in that conversation, cool. But I feel like because people are dooming and glooming so much, some people feel like they ought to be in that conversation when like you could just like enjoy the thing. Um, but I just think, wait, sorry, what's the exact question again? Just to refresh my mind.
Whose responsibility do you think that it is in order to?
Oh yeah, I think it's just anyone who has like an invested interest. Whether it's like a financial interest, like if you're a player or like a commentator or whatever, or just like an interest because you like this thing. Like it's just, like I think when like players are doing this thing, like especially like full time and they're not like streaming or putting out like any kind of content. And I'm not even saying like you have to do like crazy scripted or whatever, but like I feel like you can do what you want, but the way that I've always gone about it in my mind is if you are a person in melee, like a figurehead, you do have a responsibility to, I guess, have some kind of output and be some kind of like face in this thing. Because if nobody is, then it's just it feels like it's dying, and it's just there's no like, I don't want to say lack of community, but like I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. With like, it's just I feel like you have like a bit of a responsibility because it helps the game stay alive and be healthy.
Do you think that there are any factors that make top players hesitant to put themselves out there publicly?
Yeah, I mean the internet has gotten crazy. Like I feel like back like a decade ago, I always saw like 4chan as this super scary place, whatever. Like I don't want to go there. And I feel like everywhere on the internet now is just 4chan. It's like you go literally anywhere and it's people just saying like the most heinous shit. Not some like a lot of the time, not even behind like a fake profile picture. Sometimes just their face plastered and they're saying, just talking crazy. And because of that, because people feel so comfortable, I think just like being so hateful, it's just a lot scarier to give your opinion because people will feel strongly about it and give you hate in a way that I think is more extreme than it used to be. So I get it. I think, yeah, like I mean, even I don't tweet or like give my opinion on stuff as much anymore, despite it being a thing I've always prided myself in, that I like spoke my mind. But yeah, it's a lot scarier. People are a lot meaner and more hateful, I think, on the internet than they used to
Do
be.
you think it's something that the community can come back from, or is there something that we had that we lost?
I think it's like I think it's just like a reflective of like the world in general. Because I don't think it's just a melee thing that the internet's crazy. I think it's just the internet as a whole is crazy right now. I don't think that the Melee community, the way it existed a decade ago or before that, can exist now with how the internet is. Like everything was just way too like I don't know, like it's just it's very very different now how the world operates. But I think it's a mix of both. Like I feel like we need to like remember our roots a bit and maybe have a bit more fun with the game because I feel like that's different. I feel like people aren't having as much fun with the game anymore. Like even with like the Zump stuff, right? With like Nun versus Cody, whatever. It's like seeing a lot of people be like, "Oh, like Cody has nothing to," we're like trying to like logic this thing. Where back in the day, it would just be like, "I think you're a pussy and I'm gonna beat your ass." And I feel like having a bit more of that is like beneficial, just turning the brain off and playing the game and like maybe talking a little bit of shit. Doesn't have to be hateful shit, but just a little bit of shit that stays within the game. I think is healthy. Um, but I think to do that in today's day and age, we do have to evolve it a bit, like and use different means that we didn't have back then. Like, we're still promoting tournaments on like slideshows of other tournaments, and then we're wondering why viewership is bad. And it's like we're just kind of promoting this thing in this spot where viewership is already bad, and then we're shocked Pikachu gif when it's bad at the next thing. And it's like I don't know, like TikTok is huge, YouTube Shorts is huge. There's like so many things you can do to like get tournaments out there more. And I also think it's like on the players, because the players are the people who have the most deep rooted like connection to just the masses, because people followed this thing back in the day. They might still follow like a Hungry Box or an Axe or someone. And I think even just like a tweet or like a short or a TikTok of just like, I've thought about it. I've been watching quite a bit of wrestling. And I think like the promos they do of just like talking shit on each other, like that is something that I used to kind of feel in Melee, but it's gone. And I'm like, I think there's a world where you can take that to like a TikTok or a YouTube short. Like, I'm just like at a tournament and I'm just like, yeah, I'm about to play Cody Schwab and I just like talk shit on him and whatever. And I think there's like stuff there that is more modern, but still bringing back like the old vibe of the community of just ultimately, I am playing this game and I'm better than you. And it doesn't have to be like a hateful, like it's just, like friendly shit talk and whatever. But yeah, I think there's a way to do that kind of stuff more modern, and Melee's kind of behind the times.
Do you think that that personal angle to like the players putting themselves on the line is like the biggest thing that we've lost from a top player perspective compared to like a decade ago?
I think a bit. I think, yeah, people don't play the game anymore unless there's an incentive. Like I'm back in the online era, or like when it was fizzling out. I was trying to get people to enter tournaments still for online, and I remember people were like, "Oh, I don't get anything because it's not for ranking." And I was trying to be like, "Your numbers get inflated. You can push that to sponsors." Because of that, maybe some people like you a lot when they watch this tournament. They come back for other streams, and like ultimately, it's just you're getting more eyes on you. There's more things happening in the game, so it just feels like we're still going forward as opposed to like going to a major, stopping, and then trucking along. Like so much you get from it. And I feel like people were like pretty short sighted on that and not necessarily like far. They're not looking in the future enough to see how, these things actually do help foster like a healthy community long term. And yeah, and again, I think people just don't put their opinions out there as much. Like, there's fan bases, you get death threats, you get whatever nowadays a lot more if you're like a little bit mean to somebody. And people don't want that. Obviously, it sucks to get. But yeah, like I even just like streaming, even just like showing that you care. I am a top player. I care about this thing, not just saying it like that, but just saying it in a way that's like believable goes a really, really long way. And I feel like that's missing. People, even our most visible, are still in the shadows right now. So I think ultimately it would be really cool if more of the players stepped up to do more stuff. At least in my opinion, as a player.
So would you say that there's a more of a need for top players and people in the community in general to be looking at like the big picture, looking at those like delayed gratification things in order to for the community to be healthy and to thrive moving forward?
Oh, so much so. Like so much so. Cause when people aren't like entering stuff because like this isn't gonna count for rankings, it's just like we've like lost the plot. like I was crashing out when I was like having that conversation with the unnamed individual because it was just like, man, like what even happened to just like the thing you get being able to say I'm better than you? What happened to just playing for like the bragging rights? Because to me, that's competition at its core, at its like absolute lowest form. Is just to be able to say I am better than you, and it's just like when people feel like that just isn't enough anymore. I'm just like fuck, like it's so sad, and just like I don't know. Like another complete off topic issue is like even like donation goaling tournaments. Like when I would see people with sponsors, presumably paying them like a salary, like 5K ish plus, sometimes more a month, plus like travel and hotel covered and whatever, and there's still donation goaling a fucking tournament. It's just like, I don't know, man. I think this is very greedy. You're not seeing the bigger picture. It's just all you're doing is like holding people hostage that you are probably making more money than. And it's just, it really, I don't know. I see that stuff and it irks me because I'm like, I feel like long term, it has built a culture where people feel very, very, very entitled to making money off this thing that is again an anomaly, and we should be grateful for that it exists anyway. Where they will try to like kind of grip people's wallets for every little thing because they feel entitled to money because they play a game. And I think short term, yeah, you get the money if people give it to you. Long term, it's just like I don't know. Like I just it does bum me out whenever I see like people. I guess like again, if you don't have a sponsor or whatever, it's like whatever, it's fine. But like, I feel like people have kind of abused that system so much. And long term, it's just maybe people don't see it, but to me, I see it. And I'm like, I don't think this has helped.
Yeah, because I mean, you're very aware of how crazy your circumstances are and the opportunities to be able to play a video game full time.
Yeah.
We talk about like the value that players actually give to
Mhm.
sponsorships and about it being like what value do players give to teams,
Yeah.
right? And we've
Nothing.
it's hard to point to.
It's just nothing. I mean, a man like me, I hope that Shopify does not check the record books and they forget that they're paying me because it's not. It's like it's not an endeavor there that teams are making like money from. So it's just like ultimately like it's I don't know. You just be grateful that like there's anyone who's like a fan of this thing who is willing to give money, who's willing to whatever. Like I don't know.
Mm.
That's my piece, I guess, on that.
Do you feel like maybe the players from the previous generation, when this game was booming, maybe have a different perspective on this stuff? Do you think that the old community has set the current modern game up for success?
Like in some ways, yes, some ways no.
Hmm.
Like I don't know. It does bum me out sometimes. Like when I look at like a decade ago, like Apex 2015 Salty Sweet, and I see like Ken and PC Chris coming out of the woodworks to put on this like Salty Sweet, and the people who are like top players in that era are like benefiting from this thing, and then I'm a new guy, and all the gods are just fucking acting bitter about this thing. And, I'm not saying like, oh, give me a handout, but it's like, I hate how much I think the old guard, who are the most visible players in our game's lifetime, have been like super, super bitter about the community because all it does is kill the vibe. It's like they made their bag and now they're kind of like shooting it in the foot before anyone else is able to like, not even like make a bag, but like people depend on this thing, and it's just it feels very selfish to me, and it's frustrating. And I'll also say Juan's big Papa Juan because he doesn't do that shit.
Yeah.
I will say that's the new arc, the
Yeah.
friendship arc. He's like the guy who's just given the most. I think he's like as of the past couple of years, he's been doing a fuckload for the
Yeah.
game. Because I know I said all the gods. I just
It's
yeah
worth saying that it's not just like the top players and like old guard or modern players, but like a lot of the community just seems to have a hard time taking a step back and appreciating that it's really cool that this stuff exists and that it's going to take a lot of perspective in order to keep the lights on for everybody into perpetuity.
yeah. It's like again, like it's like an ant colony. Everyone has their job. The stats people have the stats shit. The players have the playing shit. Whatever. Everyone just has to do like they have their role, and this thing collapses if people stop doing their role. Uh, it's just important.
What do you think your role is in 2026 and beyond? Like, what do you see the next year looking like for you?
I think just give it my all, show up when I can, try my best as like a competitor, and content like like I ultimately am one of the faces of the game. So it's just doing things like even just like streaming, like grind sessions. I want to do more than that. I have some plans for like YouTube and like other ideas, but just doing things that get people excited, I think is my job, I guess, ultimately, to put it shortly and bluntly. Just being someone in this space that gets people excited and makes people stoked to be this thing and hopefully make thinks that this thing is like cool.
Is there anything else that you want to accomplish or prove to people in Melee before your time, like while you're still in the scene?
Not like ultimately, honestly. I mean, like I was saying, I feel like I don't really care as much anymore about like the external validation and whatever. Like I just giving it my all. Like it would be cool to win more events if I don't, whatever. Like just kind of just give it my all, do content. I don't really care that much to like prove much to anyone. Like I feel like it would be kind of hypocritical for me to like come here with a big answer after talking about how I'm like getting over the need to do that. So yeah, not really. I mean, just doing my own thing, doing what I think is like best for myself and the game, and just that's about it.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man.
Yeah, of course. Thanks
That
for having me,
was
brother. In my fucking living room. Sick. Ugh.
all right. Sweet.